Hello, in this lecture we learn about shared preferences. So there are many ways to store our application's data, and one of them is shared preference. So you can imagine shared preference as a file that stores the data in the form of key value pairs, right? So let's dig into it and let's see an example of it. So let me just clear this whole screen from here. We don't really need anything except of this button, right? So let's get back our button, and apart from that, let's delete this spinner. All right, so when we want to use shared preference, we call get shared preference method. So let me just first create a variable of shared preference sp, yeah, and then sp equals to get shared preferences. Now inside this we have to pass two arguments. One is the name of our file, right, and other is the mode. I'm going to give mode private. Now what mode private means? So here that means that this shared preference file is only accessible within this application only. We cannot access this file from outside this application, right? So if you want to add some data inside this file, now we need to call editor class. So let's do it. shared preferences dot editor. Let's take an object of it and pass sp.edit. Now inside this editor we put string or anything, integer, boolean, whatever we want, right? And we give our data inside in the form of key value pair. So the key will be name and the value will be Dhruv or whatever, right? And now we call editor dot commit, sorry, not clear, commit, right? And as I wrote clear, so let me tell you the use of that clear method. Whenever you want to erase your shared preference file, you call editor.clear method, right? So we have some data inside our shared preference file now, which has the key of name and the value of Dhruv. Now let's access this data in this sample activity right here, right? So for that we have to go to our sample activity. We'll do that by unclicking this button, set on click listener, news on click listener. We'll call, I'm going to write it in a short way, so start activity, new intent, main activity dot this to sample activity dot class. Now let's go to our sample activity, right? We have text view already. Let's go to the Java class of it. We have mapped our text view as well, right? So we don't need this. In order to access the data from shared preference, we just need our shared preference file. So to get access, let me just create a variable of shared preference. Shared preference is sp. Now let's call our same file get shared preference. The name of the file was data and mode was private, right? So now in order to get data from this data file, we need string. First of all, as will be sp dot get string. The key of that data was name, and we need to pass another argument, a default value, right? So we don't pass anything, we just write it as a null, right? not actually, we just don't pass anything inside it, just a blank string, right? So now we have to make this string appear on this text view, right? So let's write tv.setText and pass a s inside it. So let's just run our application and see if it is working or not. Okay, we have our data inside our shared preference. So let's click this button, and as we can see, we have accessed that data from shared preference. Now there's a little homework for you. We have passed this push string directly, right? It's the static data, but instead of this, I want you to take an edit text inside this activity and get a string from a user and pass that string to shared preference instead of through, right? Or whatever you the value you have given, and access the value from edit text to this activity here, right? So that's a little homework for you. I hope you've understood, and that's it for this lecture. I'll see you guys in the next lecture.